Well, folks, welcome again. Good evening. Welcome to the Klein Center for the Performing Arts. Would you please rise for the playing of our national anthem under the direction of Buena Band Director Brad Gallant. Of course, the tuba players always get up and jump in when the trumpets are trying to play. What the heck? But anyhow, tonight we've assembled a crew of the past, the present, and community band members to honor and recognize the contributions that Margaret and Rick, or as he's known, Coach Klein, have made to the Sierra Vista community for over 50 years. I have to mention, though, that it's a combined total of 97 years. Margaret taught for 47 years here in the district. The selections we've chosen tonight each have a story to go along with it that we would like to share with you. We'd like to call them conversation starters. For many years, Mrs. Klein and Coach took the band up to Phoenix to record an album at a place called Soundtech Studios. Back in the days, we did them on vinyl. We moved to cassette, then to CD. Coach drove the equipment truck. No curb or speed bump or tight parking spot ever could hold back Coach Klein. Many band students have heard the story about that one time that Coach backed over a fire hydrant at Soundtech. It's a true story. We start tonight off with a Warren Barker arrangement of a song favorite by both the show band and the concert band, under the direction of Dr. Dwayne Chun, Strike Up the Band. Our next selection is a coach arrangement of Josh Groban's Thankful. The lyrics sum up the foresight and challenge that the Kleins have inspired in many of us. We bring to the stage to perform their daughter, Miss Carrie Dirk.
Some days we forget to look around us. Some days we can't see the joy that surrounds us. So caught up inside ourselves, some take when they should give, but for tonight we pray for what we know can be, and on this day we hope for all we still can't see. It's up to us to be the change, and even though we all might still wish more, there's so much to be thankful for. Look beyond ourselves. There's hearts with sorrow. It's too late to say I'll cry tomorrow. Each of us must find our truth. It's so long overdue. So for tonight, we pray for what we know can be, and on this day, we hope for all we still can't see. It's up to us to be the change, and even though we all might still want more, there's so much to be thankful for. Even with our differences, there is a place we're all connected. Each of us must find each other's light. So for tonight, we pray for all we know can be, and on this day we hope for all we still can't see. It's up to us to be the change.
Next, we'd like to invite Mr. Ron Rivera to the stage to conduct the band in the Block M March. You get to come up whenever you want. I remember the t-shirt this morning that said, "I am the musician you warned me about." Yes, you are. You can, but remember, we rule, you drool. So while we're getting the stage cleared, we're going to get ready for a special performance now by Buena alumni Carla Hughes with piano accompanist Buena alumni Jody Moody. They're going to be doing a piece from the Pirates of Penzance. And a little bit of history here. What I understand, and I haven't been briefed on this real well, but I'm just going to kind of tell the story. I understand that Carla is now an opera singer in the New York stage. And did you have something you wanted to say? Pardon? Did you have something you wanted to say while we were getting ready to go? Some kind of a story or something like that?
I get up here and I get stage.
We don't let him talk very often, but we're going to let him do it now, okay?
Is this my mic? I'm sure it is. They do this to me every year, you know. I think they would know. I get up here and I get at a loss for words. No, not really. They've reduced me to this script because I tend to go on a lot. And first of all, I want to explain a little bit about my association with the Kleins, because it was Mr. Klein who basically discovered me, of sorts. I happened to be a student teacher. I was finishing up my degree at the U of A, and I was a student teacher doing my student teaching at Buena High School. I think at that time there was a teacher strike, and the band director walked out, and nobody was crossing the line. I had to finish my education some way, so at that time District 1 threw me into the classroom, and they said, you have to just go through it, you know. And I said, okay. You know, and I looked at the substitute and I said, okay, what can you tell me about band? And he said, I don't know anything about band. If you want to do it, you go ahead. I said, okay, cool. So I took over the program there. And during one of the Buena and Palo Verde games, I had done the halftime show. And halftime we got to meet each other. And that's the first time I met Mr. Klein. And he said, well, at the end of your school year, why don't you come by and, you know, check us out? He says, we might have a position available for you. I said, cool, this is neat. Next year, I came by, had several other interviews. Nobody ever called back. Came down to here, and Mr. Klein had talked to the administration, says, you need to get this guy. So all of my career, all of what I have done, I actually owe to Mr. Klein, okay, and Mrs. Klein for helping to mentor me, because as I heard Mr. Huffman talking, he says, this is the most traveled band. Well, you've never traveled until you've traveled with the Kleins back to New York to see Patty, right? Yeah, okay. And I know Megan's backstage, but one of the things that happens when you travel back across the country is you come across these stockyards. And my most vivid memory was Megan having this collection of strawberry shortcake dolls. And as we passed the stockyard, all of us grabbed this shortcake doll and stuff it up our nose, you know, so we don't have to smell that stuff and everything. So we drove back, Margaret, Rick, Carrie, Megan, and myself in this, what was it, a Ford LTD? Something like that. Yeah, whatever it was. It was a blast. It was so much fun. I got to meet Patty. She pulled me up for one of her shows, embarrassed the heck out of me, and it's very truly, it's pretty hard to embarrass me, but she did something that I won't reveal here and everything. So loved seeing you here. Loved seeing when your kids were here and working in the theater. I loved all that. I remember your dad, Rick, when we crossed over into Kentucky, and he made us pull over to the side of the road, and he says, get out and just smell that air. And I got out. Okay. He says, you smell that? That's God's country. Or so the people here say that. And I said, yeah, that's right. I am a big social media kind of person, not really big, but there have been tons and tons of congratulations to the Kleins. So many people that wanted to be here but could not be here. I'm finding out backstage about all these medical emergencies and things that happened last minute. Some people that wanted to be here. Donna Davis, for one. Okay, she doesn't have a medical emergency, but something did come up. So she wanted to be here. Tons of things about people saying about Margaret being this flute teacher that they had, that she was such a great mentor and everything. So you have no idea how far reaching the things that you've done, okay, for not only myself, but all these other people. And this is not only a homecoming for you, Mr. Klein, but as I stand up here and look out, a lot of these are my former students too. So I'm very, very proud of that. And with that, I guess the stage is set, and I hear the mic going in and out, so I think that's my cue. So I'd like to bring on Carla Hughes, and she'll be singing Poor Wandering One from Pirates of Penzance. Her accompanist is another former student, Jody Moody.
That was fantastic. Again, we got to reset the stage here, so give us a couple of seconds. And I think, gosh, man, what is this? Every time I walk out here to say something and you're back out here, what is this?
I got more notes.
More notes?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Remember when you said this is the most traveled band?
I did.
Okay. One thing that that's been talked a lot on social media, Facebook, was a trip to my mom's house. Remember that? We took the band to my mom's house. When we go to football games, we'd usually stop at a McDonald's or something like that. And my mom said one time, she says, well, why don't you bring them here? I'll feed them. I said, really? So we took the band to my mom's house in Tucson. We had a pool table at that time. She had a big board over it. She had all these tacos, tamales, enchiladas. beans, tortillas. You know, the kids had never eaten that well in a long time. So they ate this stuff, okay? And of course, if you're not used to Mexican food, something kind of tends to happen, you know? So they started to use the restroom in my mom's house. She has 2 bathrooms and everything. So the restrooms started backing up, okay? And here we have like all these band students. And so what we ended up doing, and this kind of tells you about community and band. We had all these neighbors that pitched in, and they said, "Oh, bring your kids over here. We'll take them in, you know." And all these neighbors opened up their houses to all these band kids, never having seen them before and everything. So it was a wonderful time, in retrospect. Okay. I'm very pleased to be a part of the history of Buena, and you know, we have not only myself as a band director, but we also have Mr. Rusty Ogren as a band director, who's playing in the band tonight. We also have Dr. Dwayne Shun, who graduated from here, who was also a band director. And we have another association with Eastern Arizona College in Jeff Despain. He's also a band director up there and doing very well. So, but we also have some other people, like the gentleman over here sitting by himself. Sit up, James. Come on, I'm introducing you. So go ahead and stand up. Here we have, this is James Moffett. James is actually a principal at an elementary school in Kansas. And I've seen some of the things he's done with his kids. And he makes me smile so much when he reaches out and touches kids like this. Because I know it comes from some of his experiences here. First time I publicly cried in front of my students, and probably pretty bad, I mean sobbing like, was because of this gentleman, okay? When he was getting promoted from middle school. And I was reading my speech and I look over there and I still see those big old eyes and this big old tear rolling down his cheek, along with several other students. And since that day, I just can't hold it. And I let my students know that I'm a very emotional person. And I wear my emotions on my sleeve. And I love all these students. I love all the people that I'm associated with here at Buena. And I think Mr. Marty's going to take the rest of it, right? Okay.
I think I got it.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're going to invite Ron back to the stage here. You know, at the end of the marching season, it was always a time then when we started up Honor Band. And we prepared for the Christmas parade and the concert. And some staple pieces that we played over the years, we played them when I was a student at Buena back in the 70s, and we've played them all through the years whenever the Christmas concerts come around. One of them would always be a Christmas festival. That was a coach favorite. And the other one that we played all the time was Sleigh Ride. You know, a lot of students over the years spent hours practicing Sleigh Ride. They were all warned somehow before they got to that particular concert that this was going to be taken at coach tempo. So those of you that are not musicians will not understand this until you see how we do Sleigh Ride. And Coach used to tell us this all the time. He said, you know, we live in the wild, wild west. There's no snow or ice to hold us back here or to be fearful of. And thus, we all hang on as we did our best to hang on to the coach tempo. Here now is Leroy Anderson's Sleigh Ride at coach tempo. You know, as I mentioned in my opening remarks this evening when we dedicated the Performing Arts Center, in 2009, the show band had the honor of traveling to China on a performance tour. The band performed on the Great Wall of China and in several exchange concerts with the local schools. The band director at the Shanghai Conservatory of Music wanted to do a special combined piece and asked if Coach could do an arrangement for both schools to play. He sent the song title, The Friendship Song. And after much surfing on the internet, we couldn't find this song. And finally, after a little bit more info, the conservatory sent a MIDI file to us. The song was Old Lang Syne. Coach wrote a beautiful arrangement, which was performed jointly in both Xi'an and Shanghai. Imagine an entire room with hundreds joined arm in arm, swaying side to side, singing this song to Coach's arrangement. Ladies and gentlemen, Old Lang Syne. You know, the Kleins continue to inspire all of us here in this audience and in this band tonight. And I just can't thank these two people enough for the amount of impact they have had on me and countless other people in this community. And for that, I am grateful. Thank you, Coach and Margaret. Before we play our couple of the final pieces we've got, a couple of things that I need to get out of the way right here, some thank yous. Again, I want to thank Sherry and Jim Webb for all the work they did, and their entire family. I mean, their whole family was out there working today to get things going. It was amazing. Typical band supporter parents, get in there, get the job done, do what they got to do. It was amazing. I also want to thank Tony Nieto. He's another band supporter. He's been with the band now. I don't know how long he's been here. He started when I left out of the band program years ago as a band parent. He and his wife Karen stepped in, and they've been here forever. And he was a pit boss tonight. He helped get this whole thing set up. Let's give him a big round of applause. There have been countless volunteers that have worked, behind the scenes to make this happen. There was a lot of social media stuff that went on, emails, Dr. Chun sending out emails to the alumni, just a whole host of people. I want to thank all the volunteers that were involved tonight. Also, as we said earlier, we had that big sign out front, and I'm just going to give you a figure right now. We got about $8,000 to raise, folks. Time to get busy. I'm not going to say it again. To every one of you that came to share in this celebration tonight, we want to thank you all for being here and for traveling, in some cases, thousands of miles to celebrate with us. It's amazing. We want to thank also everyone who's so graciously donated already to this worthy cause and allowed us to accomplish what we've had accomplished so far. And there were some additional donors that were not in the program tonight that I want to recognize. They're listed on the back of the program. They didn't get their donations in time for us to include them in the program, so I'd like to thank them right now. The Sierra Vista West Rotary, Greg and Deidre Chun Furseth, Stacy Bernardo Taylor, Michael Toguchi, Mary Dobbins Steele. Mary? There's Mary. Hi, Mary. And La Casita Mexican Restaurants. Let's give everybody that donated a big round of applause. With that now, we'd like to play another piece for you that it was a long coach favorite. I remember playing it when I was a student of Rick's, and it's one of my favorites. When I found out we were playing it, I was really thrilled. I mean, I could not wait to play this song again. This is a wonderful arrangement, and Dr. Chun, help me out. Who arranged this piece of music?
James Ployhart.
This is an arrangement of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and this has been a favorite in the Buena bands for many years, and we'd like to perform it now for you as our last piece. Enjoy the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, is our last song for the evening. It would not be a Buena evening without the playing of the Buena fight song. At this time, I would like to invite all past drum majors of the Buena bands, if you're in the audience, you know who you are, to come up on the stage and participate in the conducting of our sacred song. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buena fight song.
Come on, Josh! Josh! Josh!
Stand up, Sheffield. There's one out there.
Thanks, folks. Have a wonderful evening. And thank you, Rick and Margaret Klein.